Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you're doing well. And in the spirit of this Christmas season, I wanted to talk about how I adopted my cat, Koda, who is someone I am extremely grateful to have this year. This is going to be a little bit of a cinematic type video while I talk about how much I've spent on him to make him a part of the family. So get cozy, grab your hot cocoa, and let's start the story. In May of this year, I was living with my best friend and her two cats, and I came home one night to find we had an unofficial third cat in the family. It turns out my roommate was walking towards the house when she saw this kitten outside getting beaten up by all these other cats in the neighborhood, and he ran up her leg and she couldn't turn him away because he was basically crying for help. So we kept him in overnight, and the next morning I spent all day trying to find his mom or family outside and seeing if he wanted to go, but it was too late. He was following me everywhere, and I wasn't going to leave him outside to get attacked again because he might not make it this time. So I took him in. And on this first month of May, taking care of him full time, I spent $199.38. Although my roommate had cats, they were full adult cats, and because Koda was a baby, he needed things that were just for him, such as kitten milk and bottles, shampoo so that I could clean him really well, a pet scale to keep track of his weight on a daily basis because these early days are when he is usually with his mom. But since he's with me, I have to keep extra attention to make sure he is growing and staying healthy. I also got this wound spray/gel because it seemed like he had a couple of injuries from outside, but they were very minor scratches, so thankfully we didn't have to use too much. Now we are a month later in June, and he's gotten a little bigger, more familiar with the house and with the other cats, and he's starting to show his personality a lot. But with him getting bigger, that also meant that he needed some new things. So in June, I spent a total of $246.90, and that included replenishing his milk and food, getting him his own litter box, buying some toys for him to play with, and I got him on pet insurance and took him to the vet for his first time visit to make sure he didn't have any diseases or anything, and thankfully he was a completely healthy kitten. July was a crazy month because I was moving, I had to find a new pet insurance that covered his needs, and I also had to find another vet for my new place that I was moving to. And I had to manage all of this while he was growing in front of my very eyes. But we made it to the other side, and besides him marking his territory here and there, he adjusted to the new place very quickly. So after all that, I spent $221.71 in July. In August, we had officially settled into the new place, but it was also time to introduce the vaccines and boosters that he needed. I couldn't get them done earlier because he was just too young, but now he was of age and it was time to give him the necessary medicine to keep him safe. So after the 2 to 3 vet visits that I made in August, I spent $336.14. Finally, in September is when the upfront cost for him started coming to a close, with the exception of his last mandatory vet visit. So after being billed a full month of his new insurance plan, as well as getting his monthly pet supplies, I spent $195.75 in September. In October and November, we finally had a good routine, and that included taking him on a walk once or twice a week, playing with his toys so I could see which ones he did or didn't like, and just watching him officially come out of his shell and show his true personality. And also by this point, I was able to better gauge how often I needed to replenish his supplies on a monthly basis. So for October, I spent $140.29, and in November, I spent $143.65, and that does include his insurance, which is about $58 a month. And now we're in December, which would have been a normal month, but he had some kind of random injury to his nail. Thankfully, it was not infected or anything, but I did have to take him to the vet to get checked out, and we did give him a little bit of pain medicine. And so in December, including the vet visit, the insurance, and his monthly pet supplies, I spent $450.35. All in all, I spent $719.60 on his pet supplies, so that included his milk, food, toys, etc. And for his insurance and vet visits, I spent $1,322.21. So the total that I spent on Koda in his first year was $2,041.81. I will say that with me having insurance, I was able to get some reimbursements because they covered some of his costs through his vaccinations and boosters and things like that. So that was extremely helpful, but I am the type of person that likes to track how much I actually spent from my own bank account, and I kind of leave the reimbursements as a separate thing. But nonetheless, I am super happy to have Koda in my life. So really, money was not much of a concern because I knew that I wanted to have him in my life. He's very playful, and I am still happy that I made those investments in his health earlier, which I know will just help him to live a happier life longer. And kind of on that same note about investing in things and spending money, during the Christmas season, there is always a lot of pressure to buy things for other people, and some people respond to that pressure by going into debt to live up to those expectations. I wanted to share a friendly reminder that you don't have to move like the world does. The next time you get ready to buy something, ask yourself what the return on that investment will be. If it's something that won't last long, doesn't have a clear purpose, or is not something that's really meaningful to you, I think it's a waste of time. And if you don't have money to buy anything for Christmas, maybe your way of giving this year is to give yourself grace, not to spend anything but time with yourself and your loved ones. Don't fall into the trap of buying things just because. Sometimes the greatest gifts of all are the ones right in front of us. But that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching this little journey of Koda growing up, and I might continue to share more content about him as the years come. I'll be leaving links below in the description in case you want to see all the details about everything that I bought and how much it cost. But anyways, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. I'll see you in the next one.